So here I am in the Dolomites region, Trecime, climbing Bella Vista, and I'm climbing with my climbing partner, Edu Marin from Spain, and Trecime is 300 meters tall. Bella Vista is, I believe it was 9 pitches, and the first 5 pitches are really the crux pitches, and it's limestone that's very loose. The crux pitches are actually more solid than the top pitches, which are a little bit less frequented. The rock falls off quite often. There's some kind of off-width-ish climbing. You can get easily lost on the wall. Now, this is August, so the weather during the day is nice. It's brisk. You wear a down jacket. And take off the down jacket while climbing. At night, it gets really cold, and it's really not predictable weather because it's the mountains. And when it gets cold, it gets really cold. We're also at elevation, and when a storm rolls through, it's a monstrous storm. We were climbing, and a hailstorm rolled through. We're about 250 meters up on the wall. It's only us. There's no one else around us. And as the hail starts coming down, Edu, my climbing partner, had our down jackets clipped to his harness from ascending up, hauling the rest of our stuff, which was pretty bare minimum. We're both sport climbers, mainly, and this Dolomites climb was uncharted territory for both of us. We thought, hey, we can do this hard climb, so why not link it together with some easier climbs and do this big, monstrous multi-pitch climb? That said, we didn't really think of the what could happen if there's a big storm, what could happen if we're delayed on the wall, what could happen if it's cold. And so when all of this happened, we weren't that prepared. By the time that we actually got to the top, after trying to wait for the bad weather to roll through, which it didn't, so we climbed through the wet, it was about 9 p.m., and it's us alone at the top of Trecime Oeste, and we're looking for the descent, and we can't find the descent, and it's pitch black, dark, and really cold and still drizzling. Ironically, the one thing that I did have is my cell phone. And I had service, actually pretty flawless service. So about an hour into looking for the descent, which isn't obvious at all, I called Alex Huber, who was the first ascensionist of Bella Vista and a fellow Adidas team member. When I called him, I was already really cold, but not at the point of thinking that I would have hypothermia because I still had this idea that I would get down eventually and we had just accomplished our goal and some excitement still running through my blood. But then when I was speaking with him and explaining the situation, he said, "Oh, Sasha, you have to sleep at the top tonight." And I was like, oh, no, I cannot believe that this is happening right now. I had about probably like this type of layer on me, a sweatshirt that was wet, no down jacket, no Gore-Tex gear, a soaking wet climbing rope, and soaking wet everything. The remainder of a Kit Kat bar in my pocket, and that was about it. So it was negative degrees. I don't know what degrees it was. Trying to do jumping jacks, trying to still find the way down, even though in the back of my head the legend is saying, you're sleeping at the top. So it's kind of like this imminent, I know that I have to sleep at the top, but in order to pretend like this isn't actually happening, I'm going to continue to be optimistic that there will be some way that I find myself on the ground tonight and not sleeping here for the next, well, I was looking at then about 6 hours. Thinking back, I don't know how I did it. I just did it because there was no other option. but it was like bone-chillingly, painfully cold and endless because it was like night. And the night, I mean, it's dark, like not too early in the mountains. And yeah, I just remember thinking I have no option. So we continued to look for the descent till about probably 3 a.m. of looking, doing jumping jacks, shivering, trying to be warm, to the point that we were kind of on the edge of the cliff, which we later found out is like a steep drop to the ground. Because I woke up when the sun rose, probably after falling asleep for about an hour, and I'm lying on the side on a rock where I'm kind of like have slid onto. And I open my eyes and I look around me, and it's just like a dead vertical drop beneath me, sitting on the side of the cliff. Um, so that was a startling way to wake up. But needless to say, there was daylight, and it was about 5 a.m. at this point, and we could find our way down. That was my, oh shit, I can't believe this is happening right now moment.